Okay, we're going to start this webinar now. I have to tell you guys, this is really going to be one of the best webinars you're ever going to see. Frankie is going to show you what you need to know to be dominant in the online space. I promise you've never seen anything like these advanced psychological secrets. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to presenter Frankie Finn. He's a featured author for Attorney at Law magazine, and he's helped his clients on Oprah and Dr. Phil make over $20 million in client fees. Frankie, welcome, and thanks for doing this.
Well, thank you, Tom, for that amazing introduction. What we're going to be talking about today is really exciting. So this is the 5 steps to an easy, highly leveraged, scalable business. My name's Frankie Finn, and what I'm going to be showing you guys today is really how we were able to go last August of 2016 from 0 to 50K in just 2 weeks in our business in the legal niche. And this is going to be really, really exciting for you because I'm going to show you exactly how we did it. Now, if you're brand new, I'm not promising you're just going to suddenly go overnight from 0 to 50K. But what I am going to show you is that you can do this really, really quickly. Now, for us, this was preceded by a lot of struggle. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to go through all that. You can, in fact, do this very, very quickly in 90 days, often even less than that. So I'm going to show you the real power of how to kind of hit that next level and do this in a way where you're leveraged and the business is scalable and you're having a good time doing it. So really quickly, I want to tell you who's this for. Ultimately, if you get paid for your expertise, whether you're a coach or you're a consultant or you're a speaker or you have an info product or maybe you provide a service, if people pay you ultimately mostly for what you know, then this is for you. And ultimately, if you don't already, you should be looking at least to aspire to what you sell is at least worth $1,000 and hopefully a lot more than that. So if that's you, you are in the right place, and this is probably going to be the best 45 minutes that you really ever spend working on your business because I'm going to show you some of the coolest stuff that's working today, and not only working today, but is going to work for you very, very quickly. So in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how to systematically attract the good leads within one day. And emphasis on the good leads because there is a big, big difference between high-quality people, great sort of leads, people who are pre-motivated and pre-sold and want to work with you versus, just kind of cheapskates and flakes and things like that. Going to show you as well 3 NLP questions to get your dream prospect practically begging you for real to give you 5, 10, 25,000 in less than an hour conversation. In fact, I've even used this to have multiple people pay me over $100,000. So it is that powerful. You can have a complete stranger writing you a $100,000 check, right away following this process. I'm going to show you how to scale rapidly. Now, this is interesting because scale is a buzzword that is overused in our industry. I'm going to show you it is the exact opposite of what everybody says to do. And scale is something that if you do not design for it in the beginning, it will haunt you later. So I'm going to show you how to fix those problems before they even come up. Going to show you how to turn social media likes and fans into cash. Ultimately, we're doing this not to get giant followings. In fact, I've seen one lady came to me. She had 250,000 real legitimate followers. She was in the media and had $0 coming in as a result of that. So what I want you to do is not to do this in a way where you're going to get vanity metrics where people like you and they follow you and they think you're cool, but ultimately where people are handing you real cash that goes in your bank account, that helps you and your family, that helps your lifestyle, and ultimately makes a difference for them, where everybody is benefiting, where it's sort of win-win all around. Going to show you something that nobody talks about, which is the inner game transformation, where you feel like your own inner Steve Jobs, your own Richard Branson, so that you can go out there and do the things that are necessary in your own sort of entrepreneurial journey. I'm going to show you some 3rd grade math. This is kind of a necessary evil, but when you do this right, you're going to be able to 2 to 10x your money, do this in an hour, and ultimately that paves the way for you to scale really, really quickly. And so my big promise, you do everything I'm showing you in this webinar, you will build a 6-figure per month business. It will be easy to run. It will be scalable. It will be fun for you. It will happen quickly. You will be free, and it will be fulfilling. And ultimately, you'll do this in a way where you have your integrity, where people are saying thanks to you, and you're really, truly making a difference in the world and living it in a way where it's in line with your purpose. So really quickly, before we get going, I just want to catch up and see where you're at. So let me ask you, does this sound like you? Do you start out each month wondering where is the money, where are the clients going to come from? Maybe you're on the feast or famine where some months money rolls in, other months it doesn't, but you're always kind of stressed out and worried because you lack the system to bring you the right people. Are you frustrated? You feel like you've been at the game a long time, and maybe even though you're probably pretty close, does that next level feel a million miles away? Are you tired of being a solopreneur? And I know that, when being a solopreneur, it's very, very interesting because we're the only people in the world when you're a solopreneur that give up a 40-hour-a-week job so that we can work 80 hours a week and struggle. It's crazy, but it's true. Do you feel like you're not getting enough bites? Not enough clients are reaching out to you, and when they do, maybe they're the cheapskates and the flakes and not really the high-quality people that you ultimately know that you're meant for? Are you taking on working clients that aren't a good fit? And maybe you're just afraid to turn them away. Maybe you just feel like you need the money. If you're coming from that place of scarcity, sometimes it's just like anybody with a check is your potential client. Do you feel like you have to say yes to anybody who comes through the door? Do you see other people who are more successful than you? Often people who are dumber than you, who know less than you, and yet are somehow still more successful, and you wonder, how the hell did they do it? And ultimately, are you finding when you actually put your nose to the grindstone, are you working way too hard, too many hours, burning yourself out, feeling like you're exhausted and you don't have the will to get to that next level and something has to give? And ultimately, does it feel like you just might never get to the next level? Do you feel like it just might be a million miles away? Well, if that's how you feel, I got good news for you because I've been through all that, and none of those things are the real problem. In fact, it's just really 5 things. You haven't made these 5 shifts. I'm going to walk you through them right now. Before we do, let me just tell you, once you make these 5 shifts, you're going to be able to have what I call the golden trifecta, which is money, freedom, and fulfillment. So money means for you that ultimately you'll be able to generate clients, cash on demand, at will, and ultimately use that for whatever you want to do in your lifestyle. So for some people, maybe you want to travel, maybe you just want to have a good life for your family, maybe you want a cool car, whatever it is for you. Money gives you a lot of options, including being able to hire talent that makes you look good, that ultimately builds scale and leverage into your business. We're going to do this in a way where you get freedom, because ultimately, if you do this wrong, you can build yourself a prison where you're working 80 hours a week. You're answering the phone from morning, noon, and night, and you're always saying, "Hold on, honey, we'll get to it in a minute. I just have to finish this one more thing." So, freedom to me means being able to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. So you'll be able to work the hours you want, do it with who you want. And then the last piece that we're going to talk about is what no one really thinks about in the beginning, but doing this in a way where it's fulfilling, where people are saying thank you every day, where you're making a tremendous impact on them, even though it's easy for you to deliver. And they're, ultimately benefiting immensely as a result of having worked with you. So you're creating these win-wins that make you want to get up and live your purpose every single day because you're getting paid and you're free and people are saying how much they love what you do for them. Okay. So this is the one thing These 5 simple shifts are the way to get that golden trifecta, and ultimately they'll make you work less. They'll get you better results, not just for yourself. Your own business will make a whole lot more money, but your clients will benefit themselves. So I'm going to walk you through these exact 5 shifts today. Really quickly, I just want to take 2 seconds and tell you who I am. My name's Frankie Finn. You probably will not know me. But if you do, you probably are in the legal niche, which is where I built a 6-figure per month business. That's me speaking on stage in Salt Lake City. I speak all over the country. I'm an author in the industry. I'm a speaker, industry expert. If you're in that niche, you would know who I am. If you're not, you probably won't. But my specialty is actually helping people like you, which is helping business owners who get paid for their expertise to get that golden trifecta, to get the money, to get the freedom, to get the fulfillment, to get the good stuff in life. So the question I ask myself is, I'm really, really blessed right now, is I have some people in my inner circle. I'd say I probably know about close to 300 entrepreneurs who are now doing $1 million or more per annually. So knowing 300 people that are crushing it, get a chance to really look at what they're doing. Then I see a lot of people who are making 100,000. They're able to make a living online, maybe not a great living, but at least they don't have a job. So I see many people in the middle. And then I see the majority. They're broke, they're struggling, they don't know how to get clients, they don't know how to make sales. It's a whole thing's a mystery to them. And I ask myself, why are some people at the top and why are some people at the bottom and why are some people in the middle? And the reason I found is these 5 things. It's everything you need to be able to get to 6 figures per month and beyond. And doing this will you ultimately have that freedom and fulfillment, not just the money alone. Because if you don't have the freedom, if you have, like anybody who tells you who has a high paying corporate job can confirm this, it sucks when you don't have freedom. And it also sucks when you don't have fulfillment. So I'm going to show you how to do all 3 at once. So I'm going to walk you through them right now. That's enough build up. Now, the first one, I know you guys want me to get to all that marketing, awesome ninjutsu, and I promise you I'm going to show you. But before we do, I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't show you the inner game that you had to have mastered, which is you need to have 1,000% unshakable confidence. So when you look in the mirror, are you like this dog who sees a smaller version of yourself? Or are you like this cat who sees a bigger version of yourself? Now, this is really, really key because in your entrepreneurial journey, you have probably failed more than you won. In fact, that's necessary as an entrepreneur to have more failures than wins. And it's really, really hard to get to that next level if you just don't have the confidence and the certainty that you're going to get there. So you have to build that and cultivate that in your own being so that it is just your state of being, not a mantra, not a positive affirmation, but just a part of your identity and who you are. So is your being programmed for success? Because Vince Lombardi says confidence is contagious, so is lack of confidence. So which one of those are you? So the best way I know how to do this, and there's a billion different ways, whatever you do is good. I'm just going to tell you at our live events. I can't really tell you a whole lot about this for legal reasons, but the best way I know how to do this, sacred plants, shamanism, literally reprogramming your being. That's all I will say about that. Again, for legal reasons, if you're interested in that and you want to know more about it, you can sort of inquire, ask some questions, and I will give you more details. So let's get to the good marketing ninjutsu. So I want to show you something here that we developed called the Instant Attraction Social Media System. Now, key is the first two words, instant attraction. I know a lot of people tell you got to do this long build up, it's long-winded, it takes a lot of time to build an audience, and you got to get people to pay attention to you. All that, for the most part, is largely bullshit. So when you post on social media, a question I have for you is, do you have high-quality leads reaching out to work with you within an hour? Because there is a big, big difference. Now, I know you probably heard people tell you to post on social media before, and there's a giant, giant difference between what most people are teaching, which is, hey, post on social media regularly, update your blog. Because what happens for most of those people is they get crickets, ignored, people not following them, people not listening. There's a giant difference between what I see myself as well as all the other seven-figure earners I know, where within an hour they can predictably get someone to reach out, someone who is pre-sold on working with you. This is the one you want to get to. So I don't mean post on social media regularly, do updates, and all that kind of boring shit. What I mean is within an hour is somebody saying, hey, I want to work with you. Okay. So when you get this wrong, ultimately you're going to look like this bitch right here, biting her laptop, looking all stressed out. Obviously that's not what I want for you, but ultimately if you do that, it'll feel like a lot of work, and it'll just feel like endless hustle, and you're not getting anywhere, and you don't understand what you're doing wrong, but ultimately nobody's paying attention to you, and you're not getting the results and the leads that you should be getting from it. So let me show you some examples of what most people are doing to get this wrong. So this is Melissa, and she says, coaching, the name of her business, Coaching, offers personal growth, mental, and addictions coaching, which is really just a generic, all about me, visit my website. That is an example of one of the things people are doing wrong. Here's another one I see. Hey, I'm Sam, been a life coach, trainer for over 10 years, and again, here's me and here's my page. All about me, click me. By the way, what's with all these life coaches that are like fucking 20 years old? Usually you got to at least live a little bit of life before you have some life coaching to do. Here's another one. The generic questionnaire, are you making good decisions? There are several perspectives to take on this. So he's just kind of spewing out philosophy on the internet. Here's another example of doing this wrong. Random funnel tip. Survey your market. Now this is probably a little bit better than some of the other ones, but ultimately, who needs random tips? What people need is ultimately stuff that works and results and things that are transformative and can change their life. So Chanel's giving the quick funnel tip. Here's another one that people are doing. The quotes. Make the most of yourself because that's all there is of you. And I love Ralph Waldo Emerson, but quotes, they're great for getting likes. They're great for getting people to give you thumbs up. What they're not great for is getting somebody to give you a check, getting somebody to ultimately reach out and want to work with you. Here's another one, Sine, posting on Facebook Live, every 2 hours or so. This particular person does it very, very frequently, and ultimately not getting people to reach out to you because there's still a fatal kind of missing piece from it. Here's another one, the positive affirmations. Repeat after me. I'm loved, I'm strong, I am worthy. Now all that's cool, and I'm all for hope, but ultimately that's not going to get people to reach out and give you money. Here's another one. The day is wide open. How are you going to seize the day? Some kind of Tony Robbins, rah, 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 rah. make your life a masterpiece. Again, this stuff, well, touchy and nice and feel good. Nobody's going to give you a check at the end of it. And then ultimately people just posting their own self-interest. So this person was in a real estate group. Hey, great deal. What do you think the odds are that this is her specific deal? Which of course it is. So what I want you guys to get away from is all that kind of self rah. So here's an example of one I did. And you'll notice it's a lot longer. It's more in depth. Oh, sorry, wrong slide. I'm a little early. What I want to show you guys really quickly is that when you do this right, people will reach out to you regularly and either tell you they want to work with you, or they'll do this and they'll say, geez, like, your post was so awesome. This person saved my post for months. Said it made his soul shake a little. So when you do this right, you'll be living within your purpose, and people will actually thank you for helping them. And ultimately, by the value you spread and the good ideas that you give to people and the help and the wisdom you give in your area of expertise, they're going to want to work with you. So I'm going to show you how to do that specifically. But again, this is people, they reach out to say, thank you. 3 thank yous, by the way, is way better than 1. And ultimately you can do this. We do this both with organically and with paid ads. I'm going to show you how we do both. You get leads for $4 a piece, like $4.06. Who doesn't want that, right? So here's an example. Somebody posted, hey, if a lead magnet is only intended to get an email, should I run this campaign or that campaign? What's the best way to make some sales? Now, I couldn't show you guys the whole post. That's just because I'm wordy as fuck and the thing ran off. But ultimately, what I want you guys to understand is that my post here got, I don't know, like 15, 20 likes, which is not all that impressive, actually, to be quite honest. But what's really impressive is I got somewhere between like 12 and 15 people to reach out and work with me from this one post. Immediately, by the way. And what's powerful about this is, firstly, it's not a one-hit wonder. I'm able to do this regularly. In fact, I just taught this to one of our students at our last event who did this literally yesterday, and he got his first lead from doing this actual sales conversation. I don't know whether he closed it because I haven't spoken with him since, but this is how powerful this strategy actually is. And the key is when you get 12 to 15 people to reach out and work with you from one post, when you're selling something high ticket, that is worth for what? For you. I find that in general, this is worth, like, one post can be worth more than what most people make in an entire year. So what you'll notice firstly is that I'm going into a great depth of giving a great answer. Now, I'm not just doing this randomly. This is strategically because I'm doing this in a Facebook group where I know there's a whole lot of other people who are going to see this, not just the one person. So even though I'm giving like a really badass helpful answer, in fact, the most helpful answer, I'm doing it knowing full well that I'm really selling the rest of the group simultaneously. And so that's really what you want to think about with social media is depth over the random shit like this. So I'll read you a little bit about my answer. The person said, a lead magnet is only intended to get an email. Now, I kind of called him out on that because that's false. So I said, one of the great pieces of advice I got, the goal of a lead magnet is to demonstrate you can help them by actually helping them. Here's why that's relevant to you. A lead magnet is not only designed to get an email address. People keep saying the money's in the list. It's the relationship. If it was true, and this is, by the way, very true, if it was just about having the biggest list, all the people who had Viagra and bone or get laid, they'd be the richest people on earth, right? Because they got the biggest list. They got all of us on there, all the spammers. But they have zero relationship with that. So if you're just thinking about scamming people and getting them on a list, they're going to see you like a spammer, and I know because I've done that, and they'll mostly ignore you. They'll see you as, just another name in my inbox that's spamming me. And when you do that, it makes it really, really hard to make sales down the line. So if you look at it as a way to help them immediately, then it solves a strategic problem for them. They immediately see you as a valuable resource. Then I gave them a little bit of training how to create them, told them this is true, by the way, which is really beautiful, which is when you do this, when you create a powerful lead magnet, it only has to be one page. People don't want to read a 270-page ebook. If you can give me the answer to a very specific problem in one page, I'd way rather have that than 278 pages. So that's beautiful because it's easy to help them. Then I kind of talk about our results and what we were able to do. As you guys know, we did 50K in the first 2 weeks alone. And when we really started hitting big numbers, we just got to roll with it. No need to stop doing what was working. And then I explained kind of where lawyers are coming from and just showed him how to create his own lead magnet. And again, 12 to 15 people reach out to work with me. One post. this was literally the first time I had posted in this group, by the way. So it's not as if I have this established following or people know who I am. I'm not a name in this market. So all the reasons you might think this might not work for you, I promise you it will. Okay, so ultimately within 60 minutes. And so I want to show you as well what we're doing for paid advertising, which is really, really simple, which is we have a simple Facebook promoted post. We got a little registration page to join our webinar. You're watching this webinar right now. Obviously, you're proof that it works. And then ultimately, it's a pitch to get people at the end who are, a natural fit for what we're doing, to give a lot of value, and then have them, the ones who are a good fit, reach out to take the next step. That's really, really it. So the key with this is obviously each step has to be excellent. It has to be a great ad, it has to be a great page, it has to be a great webinar, it has to be a great conversation. But ultimately, it's just 4 steps. So this whole thing, start to finish, happens within an hour. And as I showed you earlier, we're able to get leads, $4, $2 sometimes. And so you get people to reach out and work with you within an hour. Now, what I wanted to show you guys with this is the numbers that we did, because they will surprise you. And why they will surprise you is with how small they are, not with how big they are. So this is from our stealth seminar. This was our main webinar that we ran on Facebook ads. And what you'll notice is we had 325 people register for this webinar. So that's should be pretty amazing for you guys to understand that you don't really need 1 billion people to get on your webinar. If this is a 7-figure business and we had 300 people total, 300 registrations. So it's not as if, we're this giant social media star with hundreds of thousands of followers, as many people think, and all these people are consuming our blog. Really, it is just a very strategic message in front of the right people who can benefit most from them. And ultimately, I ran our numbers last August 2016 just to see how much we were spending when we hit those big numbers. And this was over about, I want to say about 40, 45 days. But we spent less than $2,800. And actually, this was all free, this advertising. A lot of people and you may be thinking this as well, oh, but advertising is so expensive, I can't afford to advertise. Well, guess what happens when we get paid $50,000 to run $3,000 with ads? We're up $47,000. So these ads actually paid us, and that's what I want to show you guys how to do, is to have your advertising pay you, so it's not an expense, but a center of profit. And so, but again, what I wanted to show you here, that is not a big number. $2,787. What does that average out to? $100 a day? So not even. So we weren't even spending $100 a day to build, this kind of scale size of business. So that is really, really powerful for you guys, because you don't need to be doing this. And also, what you'll see is our numbers. To be honest, they're not that great. Like $2.43 a link click. This campaign was $4.87, and yet they still worked, despite the fact that these numbers were really high. Just because ultimately, you don't need a lot of leads to do this right. You need the right people. So we focus heavily on getting the right people, and when you do this, real magic happens for you. So this is a result. Ultimately, what I was able to do is, for many years, I had told my girlfriend, that's her and me together in Hawaii, hey, we'll travel when we get the money, we'll travel when we get the money. And so one of the beautiful things that I want to do is when the business took off, I spoiled her for like 9 months. We traveled, probably went to 50 different places all over the world until I just frankly got burnt out. But, we went on all kinds of trips all over and just, did some amazing things. Also, I want to show you, this is not just limited to me. This is Bruno, and Bruno did this entirely organically, which is pretty amazing. $0 in advertising spend since the beginning of 2017. Bruno's done $700,000, all from organic posts in one Facebook groups, following the exact strategy that I just outlined. And this is a friend of mine, Kat. We met through having a mutual mentor, and she has since last August 2016. I thought I was being a baller, but Kat actually has built 2 $3 million businesses, 2 that both started from almost a standstill. And she did this following the exact social media strategy that I've outlined for you right here. So this really, really works, and you need to be doing it and get away from all the crap that everybody else is doing. So the big secret, nobody will tell you this, but social media is just a medium. It's just a media. It's really a tool to connect with people. And so understanding the people is more important. So the big secret that I want you to understand here is you must know exactly what to say, how to say it, and who to say it to. So there's a big difference between having 250,000 followers, like I mentioned that example, that person who's making $0 off this giant social media following, as people often think they do, versus going into a very strategic group with like-minded people where your ideal prospects can do, making one little long post that takes you maybe a half an hour to write, and then having 12, 15 leads that are highly, highly targeted and reached out to you. If you could do one or the other, I promise you would much rather do the second all day long, every day. So how do you do that? Well, it's really the right approach. It literally makes all the difference in the world. And as mean old Dan Kennedy says, it's about the message, stupid. So where most people are getting it wrong, all those examples I showed you wrong, is they're just posting about the wrong shit. Shit that doesn't ultimately help people, and ultimately, well, sometimes nice and well-meaning. It adds to the noise. It does not add to the helping people get results. Okay. So I showed you how to get people to reach out to work with you and have 12, 15 leads from one single post, which, by the way, is not a one-hit wonder. It's something we do pretty regularly. What I want to show you now is something that we call the 3-question close. Now, when you hear the word sales, what most people think of is pushy, kind of used car salesman, douchey, kind of timeshare people. By the way, if you ever been through a timeshare, it's fucking brutal, those presentations. We've been through a few of them because we traveled a lot of places, and my girlfriend just loves free shit. So she's like, oh, we get free tickets if we just sit here for 3 hours and get high pressure closed. Those are not fun. That is not what I want you to do. So when I talk about 3-question close, I am talking about sales. But what I want you guys to get into the habit of doing is asking the right questions, which allow people to realize what their own problems are and to see whether or not you can help them. And when you focus on just helping people get clarity on their problems and then helping them solve it, whether or not that's you or through somebody else, you're going to find it's a whole lot easier to get money without any pushiness, without any douchiness. And really, instead of having a sales conversation, you'll just have a friendly conversation with somebody where you're trying to help them. And this is really, really key, because what most people do in a sales conversation is dead wrong. They do all the talking, they do all the pushing, and they do all the douchey things. And Albert Einstein said, and this is some deep, deep wisdom from the old Einstein here, he said, if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on it, I would use the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. Now, that is very, very key, nowhere more prevalent than in a sales conversation. If you're asking the right questions, what you're going to find is it's really, really easy to convert people, and convert people in a way where it's their idea. So you're not pushing them to do it, where they're going, hey, I want to work with you. How do we take the next step? Rather than you going, well, let me tell you about my 1, 2, 3 whiz-bang offer. So the person who's really in charge of a sales question or conversation knows what they're doing is the one who asks the right questions. And this is the way you can be super, super helpful to people in the process. So most people, when they get somebody to reach out to them, they have no idea what to say. They end up chasing people and annoying the shit out of them. And they end up following up with proposals and I'll call you back later and let's talk in a week. Oh, I got to talk to my husband and wife and all that kind of shit. And they ultimately dread phone conversations because it usually means an environment to be pushy, to be douchey, to have an uncomfortable conversation with somebody. And then even if they get past that, they end up having shitty leads in the first place. People who aren't pre-qualified, people who aren't predetermined to work with them. And ultimately, because of it, they don't have people reaching out to them that are pre-sold to give them money. And that's not where you want to be. So if you're in that situation now, it's really just a shift. So don't be like most people where they're talking too much and they're pushing too much and they're not asking the right questions and they're not listening. Because it's really a great sales conversation. It's all about just listening and just helping people. If you have the ability to solve their problem, you help them solve it. If you don't, you refer them to somebody who can. So when you do this right, or when you do this wrong, when you do what most people are doing, you're going to feel like you're always chasing money and you're always having these surface level conversations and people are always telling you they like you. But at the end of the day, the getting the check part seems so convoluted, seems so far away, and seems so unnatural. But when you do this right, it's real, real easy. So this is friend of mine, Sandy, this is not even a client of ours, but he said he was having trouble closing people. I listened to a sales conversation and I said, oh, you're doing this wrong. You just need to ask these 2-3 questions. And then if you can help people, tell them you can help them. Tell them how much it'll cost. If you can't, refer them to somebody who did. So I didn't ask him to do this, so I was super stoked about this. Look at my response, by the way. You know it's awesome when you get the internet bro fist. But he said, big thanks to me. I listened to a recording. At the blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, he made $3,000 15 minutes later. That's how quickly this stuff can work when you're asking the right questions. So I want you guys to focus on doing that. So, question for you, is it this easy for you? I'm going to show you one of our actual lawyer calls. I'm going to show you what the close sounds like. And hopefully I have the sound turned on properly. I'm going to turn this up real loud just in case I don't. And then you'll get kind of secondhand through my speakers. But what I want you to listen to is just how easy closing a sales conversation can be. This is a real close, by the way, a real recorded call.
I'll pay you for it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay, that would work. Yeah.
So it's only $5,000 if you decide it's for you today. So my question for you is, what works for you? How can I support you?
So it's $5,000 covers everything?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, our goal is to make you $50,000 so that you could pay us more in 6 months. To be quite honest with you.
Okay, that's good. I'm happy to pay you more. I have more to pay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd love to spread it out just from a cash flow issue, but I could probably do it all at once if that is preferable.
All right. So you see how easy that was and how very natural it was. No pushing, no anything. It's just, here's how much it costs. Would you like to do it? That's what a sales conversation should look like for you. So when you do this right, this is Preston. He works with us here. And Preston is really a Jedi master. He's actually helped close $200,000 sales. He's done $100,000 sales multiple times and really taught tons and tons of people how to do this. So when you do this right, it's really easy. And look at him. He just looks like a stud, doesn't he? But when you do this right, you're really just helping people. Yeah, you get paid at the end of it, and that's nice. But what you're doing more than anything is helping them solve, a big challenging problem to them. And so here's Kate, by the way. Kate was having phone conversations. Kate helps corporate women to, just get out of dead-end careers that they're working too hard and to kind of get their life back. And she was having trouble closing all her conversations. And I showed her the 3-question close, and she did $25,000 in the very next 2 weeks after that. And now it is a regular occurrence for her to have people say yes to her. She was on this brutal 0 for 30 streak where everybody was saying they liked her and everybody was nice, but ultimately not giving her the money. And now she has this new strategy that just works so much better. So the secret is, I want you guys to understand, closing sales and doing this right and actually helping people is just about asking the right questions. So I want you to really work hard on building your repertoire of questions, because if you're not asking the right questions, you're going to be in trouble. So are you asking the right questions? Are you asking questions that help you and them understand your true value? Are you asking the right questions that it's easy for you to get money? Are you asking the right questions so you do not have to talk to a lot of people? You can just talk to the right people. Are you asking the questions so you don't have to be this smooth-talking kind of used car salesman douchebag who's all push? Are you asking the right questions? Okay, so let's talk about what we've covered so far. What you need to really kind of hit the ground running is you have to have 1,000% unshakable confidence that you can do this, especially if you failed in the past, which is a good thing, by the way. Entrepreneurs are supposed to fail along the way. You have to understand how to instantly attract people off social media. Once you do that, by the way, you have infinite abundance to be able to generate leads, as many as you want, as many as you need, forever and ever till the end of time. So it's really key. And like we said, that's all about the message. And then you need to be able to close people with the right questions. You do that, money is all downhill from you. But the next challenge we're going to tackle is that magic buzzword, scale, the unending growth machine. A growth machine is really something that's scalable, predictable, repeatable. Now, when most people talk about scaling, the reason I use this word in quotations is because everything you've heard about scaling for the most part is bullshit and is usually created by people who are better salesmen, not people who've actually built real businesses at that scale. So scaling should be like living like this bro right here. By the way, doesn't that guy look like he's having a fucking good time? All right, so enough of the shenanigans. Let's talk about what everybody's saying. Scale to most people is all about hustling to hit that next level. I'm sure you've heard some Gary Vee. I have more hustle in this finger than Skittles has candy. You got to hustle. You got to work 16-hour days. And I'm here to tell you, I love Gary Vee. In fact, I've even stolen some of his stuff for some of my legal speeches. It's fun when you drop the F-bombs like Gary Vee. But when it comes to Hustle is not how you build a scalable business. In fact, at some point, hustle will be your enemy. In the beginning, when you have zero sales, hustle is the only way you're going to get things moving. But eventually what I find is usually when you get to 100 to maybe up to $250,000, hustle will start becoming your enemy because you can only work so many hours in a day, and you need to then begin to make the shift to inspired, calculated action, which trumps all-out hustle every day. The right actions are way better than just working hard for the sake of working hard. So I'm here to give you the right question to ask so that your business can scale properly. Because if you design your business wrong in the first place, you will immediately hit scale problems later. And I've done this where we structure a business wrong and then eventually it reaches a breaking point and nothing is working, and it requires infinite effort to get past a certain point. And by the way, you won't be able to do that. You don't have infinite effort within you. And you'll feel exhausted, and the will to get to that next level will just constantly wear on you, and you'll already be working 80 hours a week, and the idea of making more money will seem like you have to work 160 hours, which starts to just wear you down and make you feel miserable, and you won't know why, but you'll start to sabotage your own business. So the key is building your business in the first place with the right structure that is scalable. So here's the right question you need to be asking yourself. Is getting results for 2 clients more work than 1? Now, let me tell you why this is such an important question. I'm going to say it again because it is that important. Is getting results for 2 clients more work than 1? Because if the answer to your question is yes, you have a flawed business structure that is going to be, at some point, it will require infinite effort to scale. And I'm not saying it can't be done, but you will make it significantly harder on yourself. If the answer is no, then you have a scalable, repeatable money machine. So let me give you an example of what that means. So one of the things that we do is we have live 3-day events to help you guys really rock this and get this all implemented and built in your business so that you can be cranking out social media leads all day, every day. Now, the beautiful thing about doing an event is if we have 3 people and then we add a 4th, it ain't any more work for a 4th people. It's still a 3-day event. If we add 40 people, it's still a 3-day event. So as a result, for us, getting results for 2 clients is not more work than getting 1. So the business itself is scalable. Now, most people don't think about this in the beginning because, in the beginning you're broke and you're just trying to make a sale. But ultimately, if you don't do this right, you will hit pitfalls and traps later. And so what I want you to really think about scale is structure. And so you want to build a structure that allows for you to grow in a way where each additional and successive client doesn't bog you down and add more work than the last one. So if you do this wrong, you'll end up like this broad right here, and I built that. And I usually, what people tell me in this situation, I'm exhausted. I'm already working 80 hours a week. The will to get to the next level it seems so hard. And I'm hustling. And ultimately, I know I'm doing this for my family, but I ain't seeing my family, and I hope they understand I'm doing this for them. And ultimately, all the people you've worked so hard for, you're going to have to throw by the wayside because you won't be able to do all the fun family things or go on vacation or do whatever the hell you want to do. So scale is really a combination of 2 things. I should have added the first one, by the way. I neglected to mention that. It is who you choose to work with, and then the structure you use to deliver it. And you must design this correctly from the beginning. So here's a big tip from our last event that I focus on the who. Most people get really caught up in the idea that who are my clients, blah, blah, blah. Here's a really simple way to do it. This is my own fancy handwriting. Is you're not meant to help 100% of the world. You're meant to help the 1% of the people that you are meant to help. So the first thing is focus on getting clients you can help. Focus on clients who are thankful. Focus on clients who are willing to spend the money. Clients who are committed. Clients who feel like friends or they are friendly with you. Clients who the experiences you've already had benefits, meaning you don't have to go learn something new. What you've already done in your life, they're in that area of their life, they're 10 steps behind you and they want to get to where you are. We always forget that the problems and challenges we have, a lot of people would rather be where you are. I can tell you, when you build $1 million business, you still have problems. In fact, I would say in many ways you have more of them, but it's better problems to have than when you're broke and going, how am I going to pay my bills? So you want clients who want a better problem. In a sense, they're realistic. So they're not expecting you to magically transform their life and everything's going to get better and you're going to wave a wand. They just want you to build a better problem. And then clients who are easy to serve. And when you combine the right who with the right delivery structure, magic for you happens, which is it suddenly becomes a lot of fun and very, very easy for you to grow and scale it. So when you get this right, the structure is really, really easy, which is you focus on people, giving people what I call a quick win. They need that sort of instant gratification. And you also focus on giving them a real solution to their problem. And when you deliver them a real solution, which generally takes some time to build, you get paid for doing it, you get the freedom, and you get really, really happy people, as I've shown you earlier, saying thank you to you, which is really fucking cool, by the way. So I want you guys to have more thank you from people, more money, more freedom. So I know this is a lot of different than what most people tell you to do with scale. The old way is everybody tells you to do a lot of busy work. You need to add more complexity for scale. You got to start doing social media. You got to do offline. You got to manage people. You got to have a great website. You got to do SEO. You got to do search engine marketing. You got to build traffic. You got to be focused on conversion. You got to be split testing. You got to do all this email marketing. You got to be blogging. You got to be doing content. And I'm here to tell you that's all bullshit, by the way. That is not how most of the really successful scalable businesses that I know work. Now, I'm not saying this can't be done, but it is a shit ton of work, and often you'll find even when you build it, if you haven't mastered the fundamentals, you still won't be scaling in the first place. You still won't be making consistent sales. So do a whole lot less, but do, as the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, less but better, right? Less but higher quality. And the fifth shift is really invest in mentoring. My biggest shifts have come, through mentoring. I've probably invested $100,000 in mentors over the last year, and really, some of that pays for itself now in weeks. But to show you really the best, this is what the best do. This is not just, a cool idea that came up with. Michael Jordan, best basketball player ever lived. Sorry, all you LeBron fans, but, Michael Jordan's better. He says, other than my parents, no one had a bigger influence on me than Coach Smith, Dean Smith, his coach at North Carolina. He was more than a coach. He was my mentor, my teacher, my second father. He was always there for when I needed him. I loved him for it. In teaching me the game of basketball, he taught me about life. This is what great, great people do. They hire coaches to help them see what they can't necessarily see. So when you think about doctors, they go to school. They spend $100,000 or hundreds of thousands of dollars, or like our niche, lawyers spend hundreds of thousands to go to legal school to get training and mentoring. This is normal. And when you stop investing in mentoring, you stop investing in training, and you stop investing in learning more in books and things like that, that is when your progress comes to a screeching halt. So the simplest way to get out of that is just to hire somebody who's been where you've been, who's walked that road and knows how to get there and knows how to avoid all the pitfalls and can make it a whole lot faster and easier for you, who can make something take, for me, some of my mentors helped me get there in 2 months instead of 10 years like it took me. So you'd much rather do it in 2 months than 10 years. Okay, so today I promised you guys how to turn your expertise into a 7-figure income and how to hit that 6-figure per month. Ultimately, how to generate those clients on demand through social media and instantly attract them, and how to get a continuous flow of them so it's not a one-hit wonder. How to leverage your time and close people, and do this really in the simplest and most effective way possible. So you're really just helping people. You're just helping people and making a fuck ton of money doing it. So ultimately, right now, you have a choice to make, the easy way or the hard way. So what you can either do is you can take the information I just gave you. You can forget it. Let's be honest. You probably have all been on some webinars where you listen to it and then ultimately 10 minutes later you forgot it, never to be implemented. And if you do that, you're probably going to keep struggling with getting clients off, especially in particular off of social media. And you can keep on doing all the things people do, the blogging and the tweeting and the posting and the quotes and all the Facebook Lives and all that shit that really doesn't get anywhere. Or you can just start getting clients today and getting those leads and those high-ticket, high-quality buyers, getting the ones you know you deserve and getting them right away, really. The kind of ideal clients that you've always wanted to work with, and be able to get them anytime you want at, that $5,000 or a $10,000 price point, or even a $100,000 price point, which is as high as we've gone. I know people who've gone higher, but that's as high as I've gone personally. If that's the case, if that's what you want to be able to do, then here's what I have for you. My team and I, we set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak with you personally. And what we're going to talk about is how you can apply these ideas in your business starting today. Now, here's what's really, really key. Whatever your biggest challenges are, we've seen them. You're not that unique. More importantly is we know how to overcome them. So we'll get on the phone with you for 45 minutes, and on this session, we'll work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan so that you'll be able to get in front of your target audience, be able to get them right away, be able to get them at the exact price point you want, and then how to begin closing those people right away. Now, the cost for this is absolutely free. So you're probably wondering, okay, Mr. Marketing Guy, now here, what's the catch? Now, let me tell you, here's what the catch is. This is not for everybody. Here's who this is for. Ultimately, you got to be somebody who's cool, fun to work with, knowledgeable, coachable, and you got to be able to actually help people. If that's you, then you want to be able to book a session right now. And here's why we're doing this free session. Number one, truth is we just love giving back. We love helping people, love helping see people achieve their goals. The thank you is the most rewarding thing. However, we also know that some of you are going to need some help applying this, and we specialize in the implementation part. A lot of this stuff, the devil's in the details. Getting this actually done, getting your funnels built, getting everything set up so it's automated so you can have people again and again. And so that's what we help people do. And if that's a fit for you, we can discuss it, see if it's a good fit, see if we can have you at one of our live events. And if it's not a fit, that's cool too. We're not going to pressure you into being a fit if you're not a fit. So nobody's going to give you a hard time. We believe always in giving value. So if that's you want to book a call with us, you simply want to go to howtogrowyourbusiness.com/apply. Or if I've done this right, I should have put a link somewhere on this page so that you can click the button, go to the webinar. Hopefully I did that correctly, but if I didn't, you want to go to howtogrowyourbusiness.com/apply. Now, understand spaces for these are limited, so you're going to want to sign up now. So I'm going to try and make the little button appear on the side of this webinar. Click that. It's going to take you to our application page. You'll see a calendar. Just pick a time where we can speak together, and then we'll ask you a couple real quick questions at the end of it. So when you click that button, again, the first thing you'll see is our appointment page. It'll have a list of available times. Just grab whatever one works for you. After that, you're going to be taken to a really short application. And it's just a couple questions, and all it is really it just helps us understand how to best help you, to do a little bit of research on you so that we can get prepared for the call. And we'll get on the phone with you at the time you pick, and really it's going to be the best 45 minutes you've ever spent working on your business. So go to howtogrowyourbusiness.com/apply, and we will speak to you very, very soon. What I want to show you guys really quickly is this is an example of Leah. Leah was at our last event, and Leah's so awesome because she closed a $12,000 sale and told no one. Crazy, but Leah did that. So I just want to have you guys hear that in her own words. And so go ahead and listen to that.
With Lena Pease. I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, which is right near Frankie, and I am a business and life purpose coach for soulful people. Okay, so I just want to start off by saying that the event rocked, because Frankie, you're a rock star. So that was the first time I had ever met you or even heard of you. I had a friend that decided to, just go to this event, and it was an amazing surprise. Just being in your energy is super awesome. And the fact that you were there to teach us and to walk us through, hold our hand every single step of the way was great. So what we did at the event was to learn how to market ourselves, create a webinar, and actually, pull it off while we were there. The thing that stood out the most is that you got into, how to have a sales call, which was really, it was actually not even about having a sales call. It was just on how to, objections, or how to really put yourself out there and to gain a tremendous amount of confidence. So while I was there, I had to step out for a sales call. And while I was on the call, I thought I was going to close this person at a lower price or a lower package that I have. And during the event, I was like, well, Frankie said, just do it, right? So I went through all the objections. I walked this person through whatever it was, the concerns that they had about my particular coaching program. And I ended up closing that call, or that signing on that client at $4,000 more than I thought. So I signed on a $12,000 client at his event, which was so awesome. Yeah.
You get a high five for that.
And very empowering.
Give me the high five.
the things that I learned at your event were things that, like, yeah, exactly what you say, like lifelong lessons or skills that I will bring forward in my business forever, really. Okay, there's one more thing I want to mention is that just being in your energy is great because, it's one thing to listen to you online, but there's something about being in your presence that's very different. And I can't really explain it, but, the fact that you do like spirituality too, combined with business, is really very, very powerful. So, if anyone is thinking of working with you, who likes that spin of things, I highly, highly recommend it because it's something that allows your client or the person that's in front of you to realize things much faster than just looking at practical terms. Yeah. So it's like an inner game versus outer game, and both of them combined is amazing.
All right, so laggy video for the win. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully this was super cool and you learned some awesome stuff on this webinar. May the force be with you. I will see you soon. So make sure to go to howtogrowyourbusiness.com/apply, and I'll see you there.